Hi, I'm Rosario Dawson.
Hello, I'm Hayden Christensen.
And we're going to play
How Well Do You Know Each Other? Dun dun dun.
Dun Dun Dun.
What year did you both first meet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got this. Yeah.
Gonna party like it's 1995.
We met in theater school in New York, and you were the cool kid because you had just done the movie Kids, so everyone was sort of always clamoring around you. But you were so sweet, and you were so kind to me, and I was like the young, shy Canadian kid, but you went out of your way to kind of make me feel welcome, and it was always very much appreciated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't remember people clamoring around me. I remember being super intimidated by people like you, because you had come in to specifically want to be an actor. And I had kind of happenstanced on it by getting picked off the street. So I was like, wow, like people had like reels and they had their headshots and stuff. And I didn't even know where to stand for lighting. But I had this movie out, so people thought that I did, but I was like so impressed by you knowing what you wanted to do so early.
Who is better with a lightsaber?
Oh. I've had a lot of practice, but
Now, if you were to ask who's better with two lightsabers, clearly me.
She definitely has the win on that one.
It's funny having us paired together because I'm goofy as all hell. That's why they pair us together to kind of take me down.
And we coordinate our clothing too, which
By
helps.
accident.
Yeah.
It's just a connection thing.
Yeah.
I did 2-hour training 5 days a week, and then on the weekends even, I was rehearsing and training with my stunt woman from Mandalorian, because I just wanted to kind of just keep it in my body, and that was such a rewarding experience, because when I got to that point where I started feeling that ambidextrous and really getting coordinated, I started really zeroing in on Ahsoka, because she is so capable, and you see her from the very beginning being so capable. But a lot more of her learning was about her leadership, about taking on the responsibility of other people's lives, and how challenging that is, because she's so young in the Clone Wars and starting up. And, you know, she's bringing people into battle, and not all of them come away from it. The burden of that and the guilt of that is really trying. So that was her more emotional and spiritual development, but that physical, getting that physical down, made me feel like I was really actually embodying her. That was really fun.
Yeah, you were a badass. I was so impressed.
What city was Rosario born in?
I think.
Specifically, where Brooklyn at?
Brooklyn,
hey,
yeah.
Coney Island, baby.
This counts as the city,
Of
though.
course,
yeah?
NYC, yes. All the way. I really love the clamor and the chaos. One of my favorite things about a New Yorker is you'll see people in Midtown in the midst of all the hustle and bustle, and then they'll all be looking up because there's a little portion of a rainbow that you can see between all the sky rises. And it's just like we have that moment, and then we keep it moving.
What city was Hayden born in?
It's not quite as obvious as you might think. It's West Coast.
It's not going to be in this one, but maybe in this one.
Uh-huh. You got it.
Really? Okay, good.
Yeah, I was born in Vancouver, Canada. And then my family moved to Toronto when I was pretty young.
I was going to write Toronto. That's why I was like kind of thrown.
Yeah,
Thanks for the hint.
Yeah, exactly.
Good looking out.
Yeah. I got you.
Which film did Rosario make her debut in?
I got this.
Yeah. Which we shot 30 years ago this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Next year will be the 30-year anniversary of it coming out.
You tested negative for all sexually transmitted diseases and infections.
Yes.
You're clean.
God, I can't tell you how nervous I was.
I remember watching that film for the first time, and I was probably a bit too young to see it, but it was because I was in New York and I was visiting my grandparents, and my family had basic cable growing up, but my grandparents had HBO, and it was on HBO, and I watched it, and it's such a powerful, visceral movie, and it really made an impact on me, and you were phenomenal in it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How old was Hayden when he was cast as Anakin Skywalker?
Oh, I know the answer.
I thought it was Oh, I got it!
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was pretty soon after we met, and I remember just being so stoked for you, so blown away. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
was
awesome.
pretty young and just sort of getting into it still, and got a very lucky break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know I don't like it when you do that. Sorry, Master. I forgot you don't like flying. Well, you've lost him. If you'll excuse me.
It was a long casting process. I started when I was 18, actually. I met the casting director, and I was living in Vancouver, actually, at the time. And I remember the next phase of the auditioning process, they were inviting a bunch of people out to Los Angeles to meet with George Lucas, but they were asking everyone to pay for their own way out there. And I was still a struggling young artist, and I was like, I don't know if I can really justify the plane ticket, because there's no way I'm getting this role. I remember when they first brought it up, I was like, that sounds amazing, but is there like a smaller part or something that I could audition for? Because it just didn't seem attainable. So I actually bowed out at that point.
Wow.
And then I got a phone call like a few weeks later saying they would pay for my ticket to come out to Skywalker Ranch, and I got to meet George out at the Skywalker Ranch, and that went well. And then I auditioned with Natalie, and I got a really nice phone call a few days later saying I got the part.
Dope.
Yeah.
A little hard to get. Yes, I like that.
What was the name of the comic book Rosario created?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
a tough one. I know you have an uncle who's a great comic book artist. And did you do it with him?
I did.
Yeah?
He worked on it a little bit. It's Letters of a Month.
Letters of a Month.
And it has to do with the occult. So which month would you think?
October?
It's pretty close. Occult Crimes Task Force.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta check it out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I love comics. As you were alluding, my uncle's a comic book artist. So I remember since I was younger, he used to have all of his comics in these, plastic sleeves, and he would let me read them, but only like back to back. And he would flip the pages. So I literally couldn't breathe on them or touch them. So to me, they were like sacred text, And I remember like growing up with the mythos and the story of my grandmother having the original Superman #1 and all of that, and her mother throwing them out.
No.
Which was crazy. So I just, it was one of the reasons why I did Sin City and so many other projects.
You have 10 seconds to tell us what you're doing bringing cops to Old Town.
I knew who Frank Miller was. And I was like, no, you don't understand. This is like everything. So I'm just so grateful for having a family that just supported that kind of artistry. And it was just something I wanted to explore. And we're actually investigating kind of bringing it back. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Hayden bought a farm in which Canadian town or province?
Oh, that's you're not gonna get that. Yeah, let's do province. Province we could maybe get. Oh.
Bring out the Calgary. I don't know.
Same province that I grew up in Toronto.
Oh, that's not Ontario, right?
Yeah,
Is it Ontario?
yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
West Side. Wait, I gotta do it.
It's East Coast more, but yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah, sorry. Oh, wait, because that's okay, fine.
My parents had a farm when I was a little kid, and so I have these, memories of going and visiting this farm up until like the age of like 5 or 6. And then honestly spending a lot of time at the Skywalker Ranch. That was a big influence on me too, and just sort of wanting some place that I could escape to the country.
What's the name of the Outcast song Rosario was featured on?
You were featured on?
Yeah, I sing in it and I giggle in it.
Really?
Yeah, he asked me to be.
I love Outcast too.
Ah.
Can you tell me the album?
Speaker Box.
I don't know. I'm also terrible with song names.
Okay,
so
so
I'd probably know the song, but I wouldn't know the name.
So it's almost like, you can swim and you can also put something on your 3-letter word.
On your leg? What?
A lap. You can swim a lap or you can put something on your lap.
Just tell me the name of the song.
Okay. Well, She Lives in My Lap.
She Lives in My Lap.
She lives in my lap. The Love Below.
The Love Below. I know The Love Below. Yeah, of course.
The song. That's me saying that.
That's
The Love
you?
Below. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love Below. He had asked me to do a music video and film it, and then we never did the music video, but he had me come into the studio and do that.
Really? That's so cool.
Yes.
What is Hayden's favorite hockey team?
Oh, no, I really should know this. the movie's coming to my mind. I'm like, the Mighty Ducks. I feel like Dave would be so mad at me right now.
I've always been a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan ever since I was a little kid.
Classic.
Yeah, when I was in grade school, you know how you have to do like public speeches? I did a whole speech on the last Toronto Maple Leafs team that won the Stanley Cup, which was a long time ago.
That's like being a Mets fan.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my hockey team. I mean, I was a big Wayne Gretzky fan. Wayne Gretzky was the great one. And I got to meet him a couple of times. I remember the first time I was a little kid and he was at a tennis tournament and I was there too and I saw him in the stands and a lot of people did as well. And so he had a bit of a crowd gathering around him, but he was so kind and he took his time with everyone and signed autographs for everyone and it really made an impression on me. It's nice to do those things.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Is that when you were working, playing?
That's when I was a ball boy, yeah.
Ball boy?
Yeah,
That was pretty fun.
My first paying gig was a ball boy at the Canadian Open tennis tournament.
What was Rosario's character's name in Rent?
Ooh.
They call me.
Sadly, I've actually never seen Rent.
At all, period? Let alone the movie?
I know. Wow. Well, I went to a performing arts school and everyone was obsessed with Rent.
And you were
so
like,
I think I kind of was like rebelling against it a little bit.
are you not a musical guy?
And I'm not really a musical guy, I guess. But I think it's so cool that you did it. Who'd you play?
They call me Mimi.
You played Mimi?
Mimi. Yeah. That's what I want to be for my grandma name. That's what I'm hoping
Mimi?
my grandson calls me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandma Mimi.
They call me Mimi.
What film did Hayden receive his Golden Globe nomination for?
It was something to do with a house. It was life as a house.
Life as a House.
Yeah, it was a movie I did with Kevin Kline
Oh.
a long time ago about a father sort of reconciling his relationship with his son. And very, very touching film, Irwin Winkler movie.
You're giving me all the hints. I cannot remember
Yeah.
the name of this movie.
Yeah.
I did not see that one.
Yeah, that's all right.
And I
Life
love
as a
Kevin
House.
Kline.
Yeah, me too.
Life as a House.
Yeah, there you go. We know each other pretty well, I think. We did okay.
Not too shabby.